The 2024 Dutch Grand Prix was nothing short of explosive. From the very start, it was clear that this race wouldn't be like any other. Max Verstappen, the hometown hero and reigning world champion, charged ahead, taking an early lead. The crowd roared in excitement as it seemed like another Red Bull victory was in the making. But suddenly, everything changed. Lando Norris, with his unstoppable McLaren, closed the gap, and within just 20 laps, he had overtaken Max. The once dominant Red Bull car was being left in the dust. DutchGP recap. The race began just as everyone expected, Max Verstappen taking an early lead at his home Grand Prix, with the crowd on its feet, cheering for another dominant Red Bull performance. It seemed like Max was set to continue his unstoppable run, but things quickly started to unravel. Lando Norris, in his lightning-fast McLaren, was closing the gap. The McLaren team had clearly brought something special to this race, and their upgrades were paying off. Within the first 20 laps, Norris made his move, passing Max with ease. It wasn't just a normal overtake, it was a statement. The Red Bull car, which had dominated for so long, was suddenly struggling to keep up. Max was left to chase Norris for the rest of the race, ultimately finishing second. For any other team, a second-place finish would be a success. But for Red Bull, this was different. This wasn't just a race they lost, it was a clear sign that something was seriously wrong. Jos Verstappen's shocking statement. After the race, Jos Verstappen couldn't stay silent any longer. As he walked through the paddock, his frustration was clear, and his words sent shockwaves through the F1 community. In a bold and blunt statement, Jos fired a direct warning to Red Bull Racing, saying, "They need to take a good look in the mirror." For a team that had been at the top for so long, hearing such a critique from someone so close to the champion was a massive red flag. Jos didn't hold back on what he believed was going wrong. He pointed out the RB20's lack of pace and balance, two critical issues that had plagued the car throughout the season. According to him, this wasn't just about losing one race. Red Bull's entire dominant streak was now at risk. The team that had once seemed untouchable was starting to crack under the pressure, and Jos wanted them to wake up before it was too late. His words weren't just a critique, they were a clear call for Red Bull to act fast before they fell even further behind. McLaren's development, outpacing Red Bull. As the season progressed, McLaren didn't just close the gap, they overtook Red Bull in terms of car development. Lando Norris's McLaren, equipped with fresh upgrades, showcased impressive pace, especially during the DutchGP, where he was able to chase down Max Verstappen and secure a dominant 22-second victory. Red Bull had started the season strong, but as McLaren and Mercedes continued to roll out new upgrades, Red Bull failed to react quickly enough. McLaren's focus on improving aerodynamic efficiency and handling allowed them to outperform the RB20, particularly in fast corners and high-speed tracks. This gap in car development is now becoming a serious concern for Red Bull, as McLaren's upgrades are proving to be consistently better than theirs. With the 2024 season in full swing, Red Bull must figure out how to regain their competitive edge before McLaren pulls too far ahead. Max Verstappen's car, setup and tyre degradation issues. Despite his calm demeanor after the DutchGP, Max Verstappen couldn't hide the technical problems that were plaguing his car. He openly admitted that there were major issues with the front to rear car balance, which made the RB20 difficult to drive throughout the entire weekend. From FP1 to the race, the car's setup seemed to remain off, and no matter what adjustments were made, the team couldn't solve the issue. Max also pointed out another key problem: tyre degradation. In recent years, Red Bull had been strong in managing tyres over long stints, but this time they struggled. The car wasn't able to maintain the right balance, causing excessive wear on the tyres, which led to a drop in performance during the race. This issue, combined with the balance problem, meant that Max couldn't push the car to its full potential. Red Bull now faces the challenge of quickly identifying the source of these problems and finding a solution before it's too late. Red Bull's declining performance. At the beginning of the 2024 season, Red Bull looked unstoppable. Max Verstappen was winning race after race, and it seemed like the championship was theirs to lose. Red Bull had secured multiple early victories, with their car performing at the top level. Fans and experts alike thought it was going to be another dominant season for Max and the team. But as the season moved forward, things started to change. McLaren and Mercedes rolled out powerful upgrades that quickly turned the tide. Suddenly, Red Bull found themselves struggling to keep up with the pace of their rivals. The once dominant RB20 wasn't enough to hold off the new competition. As races went on, it became clear that Red Bull's grip on the championship was slipping. Max calmed Jos's frustration. While Max Verstappen seemed calm and composed throughout the struggles, his father, Jos Verstappen, was clearly feeling the pressure. Max, in his usual style, acknowledged that not every race would go their way, and that ups and downs are part of the sport. He remained focused on getting the best out of the car he had, knowing that improvements could still come. But Jos had a much different perspective. He wasn't willing to accept defeat so easily. His frustration with Red Bull's performance was clear in his public statements, where he made it known that the team's issues ran deeper than just a tough race. Jos believed that Red Bull's decline was not only a result of their car falling behind in development, but also a sign that the team wasn't reacting quickly enough to the competition's advancements. The hidden conflict, Jos Verstappen vs Christian Horner. Behind the scenes, there's an even bigger story unfolding: the growing tension between Jos Verstappen and Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal. While Red Bull has been focused on fixing their on-track issues, an internal conflict has been brewing. Jos Verstappen has never been shy about expressing his opinions, and lately, his frustration with Horner's leadership has become more vocal. The tension between the two started long before the DutchGP. Jos has openly criticized Horner, questioning his ability to guide the team through this challenging period. According to Jos, Horner's decisions and Red Bull's failure to react swiftly to the competition have put Max at a disadvantage. This conflict isn't just about a father defending his son, it's about deeper issues within Red Bull's management. What's next for Red Bull? With all the drama on and off the track, the big question now is, what's next for Red Bull? The DutchGP served as a wake-up call, and Red Bull knows they can't afford to ignore it. Max Verstappen's championship lead and Red Bull's dominance are at risk if they don't make some serious changes. First, they need to address the technical issues with the RB20. The car's lack of balance and performance compared to rivals like McLaren is costing them valuable points. They need upgrades and fast if they want to keep up. Finally, the team has to re-strategize. They need to focus on improving car setups, race strategies, and tire management to ensure they can compete at the highest level in the remaining races. The competition is fierce, and if Red Bull doesn't take action now, their reign at the top could come to an end much sooner than expected. If you loved this breakdown of the Dutch Grand Prix drama and want to stay updated on all the latest F1 news, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the action. See you in the next video. Until then, keep racing.